Republicans' health care plan clears the first hurdle, the House Ways and Means Committee. It was an 18-hour session, and it approved the House Obamacare repeal bill. Joining us now is Congressman Jim Renacci, Republican from Ohio. He's a member of that House Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, have you been up all night? Did you take a nap?
Good morning, Stuart. Yes, we were up all night. I think I had about an hour and a half sleep, so we're still going, though.
Well, look, thank you very much indeed for being with us at this hour of the day, sir. We do appreciate it. As I understand it, this is phase one. This is repeal. You just passed it this morning. There's something else coming down the line, phase two and phase three. Is that the process accurately laid out?
Absolutely. We now have a Secretary of Health and Human Services who has broad discretion and abilities to make some changes, and at the same time will be phase three when we turn around and start to change some of the policies.
Now, what kind of opposition from Republicans on that committee did the repeal bill, the repeal plan, meet with overnight?
Well, most of the concerns that were coming from the Democrat side last night was, you know, the Affordable Care. There were a lot of discussions about how it's working and things are working and why can't we just touch this or, you know, try and change a couple little things here and there. But what we really know is that the Affordable Care Act is on a crash course. That plane, as I say, I was a pilot, that plane can't continue to fly. And what we're saying is we have to literally strip that plane, make sure that it can fly to a safe zone and land safely. And that's really the goal. And there was a lot of frustration on the other side. And they kept talking about procedural moves and things that, again, sadly enough, when the Affordable Care Act was passed, they were using the same tactics to move some things, which was kind of surprising they brought it up yet last night.
Okay. I want to talk about a different subject, which is also on President Trump's legislative schedule, and that is cutting taxes. There seems to be an argument among Republicans on Capitol Hill as to whether or not those tax cuts should be paid for with a border tax. Where do you stand on the border tax? Because it's going to run through your committee, House Ways and Means.
Well, look, I'm a big believer that we've got to do some bold things on tax reform. We have to cut rates. I'm a business guy. I was in business for 30 years. We can't continue to have the rates we have and get our economy growing. How we do that and how we move forward is the question. The border tax is one of those ways. The way to bring the tax down is to use a border tax. I'm still a little uncomfortable with it. I want to see the transition rules. If you just put the border tax by itself, I have a lot of concerns. So I'm willing to look at the transition rules on how we get there. But in the end, we've got to bring taxes down. We have to look at ways to get this economy growing more than 1.5%.
Would you be prepared to just lower taxes and not worry too much about paying for those lower taxes? Would you do that?
Well, I also have the dubious distinction of being on the Budget Committee as well. So I can tell you that the numbers we're hearing in the Budget Committee are not good. The spending has to come down. But I look at it from a business standpoint. We've got to get the rate where it needs to be so we can sell our country as the most competitive country in the world. And then on the other side, we either have to make adjustments to bring in more revenue or we have to cut our expenses. So I'm okay in looking at ways to get these rates down and how we get there. But ultimately, we have to be very concerned about our budget and our deficits as well.
Yeah, but a border tax is not an easy political sell, and cutting spending is not an easy political sell. But you know, that's a difficult row to hoe, isn't it?
Well, and one thing for me, Stuart, I've always said, as a business guy, you make those tough decisions and you live with them. The problem down here is too many times politics gets in the way of good policy. We have to start making these decisions. We have to start looking at things that will spur our economy, and at the same time, the big concern I have about the border adjustment tax is it picks winners and losers. I've said three concerns I have. It picks winners and losers, and the other one is whether it can pass the WTO. So if we can get past those things, it's going to be a little bit more politically easy. Those are going to be tough sells, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned with it today.